watched it again about a month ago.
Oh.
It's I could watch it again. Honestly, I want to see this film on the big screen, which I haven't been able to do. And it seems the conversation was different when this film was making the rounds at the end of last year, because there were other World War II films like Jojo Rabbit and the Terrence Malick film and Joker, because you were both in competition at Venice, and now it's a completely different landscape. Does that affect the film in your eyes?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I suppose yes, because yeah, definitely yes. When I'm just only thinking of it, I do agree. Because you've seen my movie three times, if I do understand correctly, means that this story is based on the opposite. So it's just only quite simple. That always I'm saying, look, if we would like to say that, for instance, the peace is really important, or it's really important to be healthy, so then we are going to realize it in that very moment if we are in war, or if we just only got a disease. So that's what I would like to say. So until the time that we are healthy, we are feeling healthy, we are living in peace, so that the peace and the health is just only standard, we are not thinking of it too much. So that's what I would like to say based on the opposite. So that's also the distribution. One of the distribution claims is the light is visible only in the dark. So yes, I suppose that today, let's say, or the situation because of the COVID pandemic and everything, the people are much more scared, and they are maybe mostly or much more they are thinking about really important things in our lives. Maybe, yeah. I suppose yes, but it's definitely a different situation. Absolutely.
Now, I'm talking to you from Houston. You're in Prague, correct?
I'm not in Prague. I'm in the countryside, just only 40 kilometers from Prague.
Well, it's around 5 p.m. where you are?
Yes, okay. 5 p.m. Right.
Tell me about the language of the film. It's kind of a mixture of different Slavic languages called Inter-Slavic.
Right. I did have, let's say, the three reasons to do that. The first two reasons did come from the book, from the Jerzy Kosinski himself. Because in the book, in the prologue of the book, Kosinski is not writing where the story is going on. So it's no identification. So somewhere in Eastern Europe. Then he is saying, or he was writing, that the local people are speaking in a very special Slavic language. So I had to think of it, of course, that's what does it mean? And but the third reason was much more important, that I really didn't wish that any nation should be associated with this story. Not because of the alibi, but because it's just only simply fair. So this film is not about Polish, it's not about Ukrainian people, not about Russians, not about Slovaks or Czechs, it doesn't matter. It's a timeless. So that's I choose the inter-Slavic language as a wonderful tool how to do that. And of course, this Slavic language was very, very difficult for the English speaking actors. Oh my God, But I just don't really push them to say all lines in the inter-Slavic language, because even I knew that I must dub them. I must, because it's simply impossible. It's impossible just only to use it. I mean the original sound, but it was about the lip sync. Because you Americans, we in Europe, so we are watching movies, dubbed movies. And we are not, let's say, so interested in the lip sync that the lip sync is totally different than the language which is going to be used. But I know that the Americans and the English language is very specific. So if, for instance, Harvey Keitel will speak his line in English language and then I will dub into the inter-Slavic, so it will be really bad solution. So Harvey Keitel and all other people, they had to speak in the inter-Slavic language. So, but just only back to your question, The third reason was the most important one, of course. No nation should be associated with that.
The first time I saw the film, I'm just watching. I want to see this film. I don't know what's going to happen. And it's like a progression. I mean, I didn't know if I was in the Middle Ages or what, because everything is so rural and in the country. And it's like as the boy completes his journey, it's like he goes through these layers of civilization, from primitive into the modern. Was that intentional?
Oh yeah, sure. So that's correct. Even I just only in the beginning of the movie, I just only brought to the audience few informations that it's maybe that the story is, let's say, the modern time, because when the boy is going to sleep and then he is just only, for instance, watching his parents on the photo in the picture, and he has their toys on his room, and when the house being burned, so you have a German airplane, it's just only crossing the sky. But you are right. That's really like in the Middle Age. But I must tell you very openly, when we shooted these scenes in Ukraine, in the west part of the Ukraine. Well, that's a Middle Age and real. Really, believe me. Oh my God, so that's crazy. I haven't seen that during 6 weeks. The tractor, so the people are using the horses. So just only few people, they do have a car. And we live in such a dirty place. And for instance, the position of the women was so weak, So the women, you are not going to say hello to any women. Oh, they don't. No, we do that. But they don't do that. The men are not shaking their hands. The women is just only like the Untermensch. In German language, so it's nothing, like an animal, so I was really thinking about all those feminists, and I said, look, girls, this is for you. This is a place where to go and bring the light, so not here, in such a civilized countries like States or Europe as well. So it was really crazy, yes, but you are right. That's like in the Middle Age, and just only try to imagine how it looked 70 or 75 years ago. It has to be much worse, of course, and those people still are living their life in the Middle Age.
What was the shooting schedule like on this film? I understand you shot over a period of a couple of years in different installments, but could you also talk about the getting the movie from script to behind the camera and then the actual shooting? Because it took years for you to get this project to go, right?
11 years together, 11 years. But the principal photography took 1.5 years. And I did have 2 reasons. I shoot it chronologically, page by page. So I never jump as a rabbit, into the 15th page of the screenplay and then just only jump to the 65 or the 65th page. No. I shoot it really chronologically, so shot by shot, scene by scene, because of 2 reasons. The first is just a year season, spring, summer, autumn, winter, of course, but that's okay. But most important was because of small Petr Kotlár, the main character, because I was wishing that this film must be truthful, and I did realize that Peter, of course, during this period, he will grow up, of course, logically, but not only physically, but also mentally. So he was, during 1.5 years, he was really changing. His face being changed, but his mentality being changed too, and he was really different. So you can see how my boy is really going to be another person, just only the chapter to the chapter. So this was the most important reason for me. It was wonderful, to shoot chronologically. It's really great. And of course, still I was working during the principal photography on the screenplay, because the Peter simply, because he was changing himself, and his reaction being different, So sometimes I just only rewrote the scenes on the screenplay, just only on the shooting place. But it worked.
There's a lot of scenes with animals. What is his pet in the very first sequence? Is that a
ferret?
A ferret, okay.
Ferret.
Obviously, some of these scenes are digital because there's no way you could train birds to do what you do, or the goat and stuff like that. Can you talk a little bit about the integration of that within the film, because it all looks so fluid, so natural?
Look, good question, of course. The opening scenes is the ferret. Oh my God, this is such a big shock for so many people. And believe me, for instance, I had to prove the evidence to the committee in the UK when they licensed the movie to the distribution. And I had to bring them the proof that it was a special effect or VFX effect, digital effect, that I really didn't burn the ferret. I really didn't do that, and I had to prove it. So we produced let's say the 3 minutes of the length video, so how we shooted this, for instance, this scene, because we have used the live ferret live, but he was just only running, just only in the circle, and how to say it in English? She tried to catch the ball, and the ball was on the stick, and and the animator do that like that, and the live ferret just only running in the circle. And then we have used the models, of course. So it's all other animate people which animated the model, and then finally we use the fire, and we use in many times, and just then we everything, and digitally we put it together. But one of the absolutely most difficult VFX scene, that's the flock of the birds and the painted birds on the sky. So these shots, 40 people work on that, and they work on it almost 4 months. It was, oh my God, it was really very, very, very difficult. And the background was, of course, the flock of the birds. They took the camera and they went somewhere outside and just only to the field, and they just only shooted the birds on the sky. And that's all what you can do, of course, because this scene is very symbolic. And in real, it never could happen. Never. Absolutely never could happen. So we did it as a VFX, of course, in 4 months and 40 people. And here in Prague, it does exist the studio, or the post-production studio, which called the UPP, United Partners, UPP, doesn't matter. And they are really very good. They are very effective. And for instance, the Ridley Scott is working always with them. They are in such a high level. And one of them, the guy which is running the studio, and he's really a genius. So his name is Victor Miller. And Victor Miller is personally working for the Ridley Scott in his all movies. And I know that Ridley Scott loves him, loves his work. And he's so talented, not because he does understand the technologies. So many people, they do understand the technologies. But Victor is an artist, so he has ideas, So he is very, very creative guy. He's simply, in my point of view, he is just only one of the best. And that's why he is mostly working in the United States, and he's not working for the Czech movies. But when I just only showed him just only 20 minutes of my movie, of The Painted Bird, and he said, Václav, it looks really extraordinary, and I will work for you, and I must work on The Painted Bird too.
How long did it take to shoot the battle sequences, the Russian battle sequences? Because those are very intense, and it looks like a lot of setups, a lot of time.
You mean what scene? The barrel scene? What do you mean by that? Sorry.
When the Russians come into the village and they attack the village.
Oh, no, they are not Russians. They are Cossacks.
Okay.
But in fact, maybe Russian Cossacks. Yeah, okay, yeah. Because just only historically, as an information, 200,000 Cossacks fought during Second World War, and just 180,000 fought as members of the Red Army, but 20,000 Cossacks fought together with Nazi against the Red Army. And they were just only very special uniforms. We found it, or my costume designer found it, and we really shoot the exact and every detail perfect uniforms for those Cossacks. This scene was most difficult, most expensive, I must say, and we prepared this scene, let's say, about, well, 6 or 7 weeks. But before shooting, I was preparing, let's say, this scene 4 days. And in 2 days, because in 2 days we were planning to shoot it during the 2 days, because of the fire. And I knew that when we will just only burn the village, so we never can stop the shooting, of course. And we couldn't use the how to say it, the fire department, you know, because those buildings being built in real, it wasn't just only wood and the paper, real wood, you know, real roofs, everything was absolutely the same, because I was wishing that the fire must be really real. If you will just only burn the paper house, you know, so then in 5 minutes you don't have any house, of course, you know. So very expensive. But in 2 days we had to shoot 96 shots, 96 exactly. And even with Vladimir Smutny, my DOP, we didn't use the storyboard. For this scene, I wrote the storyboard and I painted the storyboard. And I did hire 2 of my colleagues, directors, and we shooted this scene with 3 crews. So I shooted the most important scenes in my point of view, and my 2 other colleagues with their crews, you know, they shooted their own shots. And because in such a big place, which was 3 crews together in one place, so that's why I did arrange the rehearsals 4 days before. Just only where we is going to be with the camera. Does the camera number 1 is seeing the camera number 3 or the number 2, you know, so the angles, and that's it. So that just only how to move each of us, you know, how to do that. So that's the first day, just only we plan it, and we were walking on the decoration, and we just were thinking of it. So the second day we brought the cameras, and we used the lenses. The first day I called the extras and the riders, but no horses. So all those people, they walked, you know, on those scenes, so they just only try to do what they will do in the next day. And the last day of the rehearsal, so we brought horses, riders, villagers, extras, Red Army soldiers, everything, and we just only moved much more quickly on the decoration. And the 5th day we started to shoot, and the 6th day, you know, we ended. And I didn't believe that we will do that in 96 shots in 2 days, but finally we did. So difficult. And then the airplane, the Russian fighter, and just wanted to synchronize the Russian fighter with the Cossacks on the ground, you know. Oh my God, you know, it was really crazy. Okay.
What did you use for the eyeballs?
For what?
For the eyeballs in the Udo Kier.
Oh, the eyeballs. It's I don't know. Just only I will find it on the vocabulary, because I never use this word in the English language. Sorry, just.
No problem.
Okay, I'm really curious, you know, how to say it. Gelatin or. Gelatin. Yes, gelatin. Yes, we use the gelatin.
And you had multiples, because I imagine the cat.
Oh yeah, sure,
one,
yeah.
Or...
Yes. It was a wonderful guy, which is a makeup and a hairstylist here, and as he's understand, he's very experienced. So he's here in Prague. He's mostly working for the U.S. producers, which are shooting here their films, and he is wonderful. So he was very special. So he knows how to do all those things. For instance, when the laborer being blinded, so he did he did his eyes. I mean the empty eyes. So the same guy did it. And just wanted to make up this artist or this actor, so it took 4 hours. Just wanted to do that, just only that he has empty eyes. And also he produced those eyeballs from the gelatin.
You've assembled an amazing international cast. Was it hard to get people like Barry Pepper and Harvey Keitel and Stellan Skarsgård, Julian Sands to participate? I mean, I imagine Stellan Skarsgård, he had the nicest character. So it'd be like, yeah, I'm a good guy, but like Julian Sands' part is very difficult because he's such a evil person.
Yeah, that's true, So, look, some people are saying time to time, Václav, you have used those actors, because then your film is going to be much more attractive. And just only, believe it or not, I didn't think on that way. Just only me as a director, I was simply thinking, who should be the best? Who should be the best? Who is the best actor? Because The Painted Bird, as you know, is a world bestseller. It's not a Czech movie. And I was thinking, oh my God, so I'm going to adapt the word bestseller, and I can ask everybody, so the range is so wide, and the first guy when I was writing the scene with the Hans, the older German soldier, and I said, who should be the best for that? I said, Stellan Skarsgård. Oh my God, yes, of course, that's him. And that was my luck. That the Stellan Skarsgård was just only one from all those actors I met personally about 25 years ago, when he was absolutely unknown Swedish actor in 1994 in Prague, and then in 1996 he shooted his first biggest successful movie, Breaking the Waves, with The Last Frontiers. But 1994, the Stellan was unknown actor, and we just only did have a common friend. He is a journalist in Stockholm, in Sweden, and he simply just only called me and said, Václav, are you okay during the weekend? Because my friend, his name is Stellan Skarsgård, as a tourist, so he will come to Prague. So if you don't mind, can you take care of him? And I said, okay, sure, why not? I will do that for your friend. And we spent with Stellan in 1994 2 wonderful days in Prague. Wonderful, really. I show him so many interesting places, not the classic for the classic tourists, some exhibitions, special art, pubs, so just only the tourists they do not know that those places do exist. And and then I didn't talk to Stellan 25 years. And after 25 years, and I just only got the idea that Stellan should be the best. I just only phoned to Stockholm to that Swedish journalist, and I said, look, are you still in touch with Stellan? And he said, yes, of course. If you don't mind, can you give me his cell number and his email? He said, sure, of course. And after 25 years, I sent the SMS to Stellan. Stellan, it's me, Václav, 1994, Prague. Do you remember? And in 3 minutes, he called me back.
Nice.
And but Stellan said, look, Václav, I know The Painted Bird, I know this novel, and I am really open to play in your movie, but in one most important condition. I must like the script. If your script will not work, and I'm not going to like your script, never I'm going to play in your movie, never. So when I finished the screenplay, I sent it to Stellan, and Stellan loved the script. And his character as well, because his character is one of the most positive characters in the movie. Julian Sands, most negative person. Yeah, most negative character. And it's really crazy because Julian is so nice and sensitive guy, so he loves poetry. He's a typical gentleman. He is so clever, so smart, so sensitive, so open, and he is playing such a dirty character, but he played really great, you know. So, well, well, yeah. So that was interesting, and Barry, you know, that's the Barry was the last one, because when you are talking to the agents for all those people on that level, so one of the first questions which you are going to receive from any agent is, who else? So when I just only talked to Barry Pepper agent, so and she asked me who else, and I said, well, look, already I shooted with Udo Kier and Harvey Keitel, Stellan Skarsgård, Julian Sands, and it was okay in 1 second. And said, okay, send us the script. Okay, so the Barry Pepper was absolute. It just only took a few weeks. But some of them, you know, it was really very, very difficult.
Well, in his character, it's so clever because he's obviously a man of few words, and he only has like 2 sentences in the movie, but everything he does is conveyed through his face, through his actions.
Yeah.
It's really almost like a silent movie. Okay, young Peter, the actor playing young Peter, obviously he went through so much over the 2 years of shooting, and then by the end of the movie, he's kind of become this killer in reaction to everything around him. How did that actor unwind at the end of the shoot? I mean, how did he return to normal, so to speak?
Look, just only in a few minutes, believe it or not. You know, because even we shot it 1.5 years, so it was a rough time, you know. But in fact, during 1.5 years exactly, we did have 104 shooting days. So each, let's say, period took, let's say, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks, but sometimes just only 10 days. And Peter he's a very special boy, you know, so he is interested in so many things. He has such a lot of energy, you know. He is open-minded, you know, so he's still interested in something, you know. But it's hard for him time to time to be really 100% concentrated, you know, because he's just only overlooking everything what is around. So and believe me, during the shooting, even we shoot it really very difficult scenes, if you will ask him after any shot, Peter, what did you shoot 5 minutes ago? And he will not remember. He was really, wait a minute, I must think of it, what I did 5 minutes ago. Because in that past, those 5 minutes which passed it from the last shot, you know, so he's got so many information, you know, so many inputs, you know, and he was, he was absolutely, he was lost. So during the shooting, you know, he was lost, you know, that he didn't, of course, I told him what the story is about, that he is a bandit boy, that he is trying to find out his parents, that the Second World War is going, etc., etc. But in fact, he was lost, you know, so he just only chose, you know, for instance, we shooted the chapter number 7, Labina, and one day he said me, okay, so, and now we will shoot again Marta, the first, Marta? You know, we shooted this 1 year ago in Ukraine. So the Marta is finished, this chapter. You know, so he was absolutely lost. He's such a nice boy. And of course it was very hard for him. Absolutely, very difficult. And mostly because he spent so many days, hours and months with adult people. So he didn't have any children, you know, on the shooting place. Even his grandmother accompanied him during the whole shooting. He had 2 children coaches, which they took care of him every minute. So it was absolutely impossible that he will sit on the shooting place and he will not know what to do. So they played, the coaches, they played games with him, you know. They teach him because during the shooting he had some, school duties and exercises, etc. You know, so never he was boring or something like that. But it was very complicated, and he was missing friends, and he was missing his dog very much, his dog, because he simply loves the animals, and he's loving his dog so much, so quite difficult. And of course, physically for him, sometimes it was very difficult to, for instance, when those people, they just only throw him to the shits, just near the church. And I remember that very well, that we shot this scene the 26th of November, and the temperature was just only 4 degrees. Oh my God, and he couldn't have, of course, any special clothes or something like that, just only the t-shirt and the pants. So very hard for him, of course, and then on the ice lake too. So he's very brave.
You yourself, when you were growing up, how did you see films? And what kind of films did you see that influenced you?
Surely 3 films were very important for me. The first is Andrei Tarkovsky, the Andrei Rublev. So this film did have a very deep influence on me. Then it was Ellen Klimov, also a Russian or Soviet movie, Come and See.
It gets mentioned a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, because this film is really, this film doesn't have any compromises. That's what I really do like on it, So maybe the camera is not so, let's say, excellent in this movie, but how the Ellen Klimov is talking the story. So it's really wonderful. And the third film, I suppose you never have heard, it's a Czech movie, or the Czechoslovak movie, better to say. It's from a director, František Vláčil, and this film title is Markéta Lazarova. And this is, I will spell it to you, M-A-R-K-E-T-A. It's a first name, it's a female name, first name. And it's a Lazarova, it's L-A-Z-A-R-O-V-A. Markéta Lazarova.
Okay.
And you will find some pages in English about the English film. And this is a masterpiece. This film is simply one of the best. It's going to be in the Middle Age, and František Vláčil, in my point of view, was one of the best directors, of course. But because he lived and worked in the communist Czechoslovakia, so he never could travel anywhere, and he couldn't do anything, of course, And finally, he got some problems, of course, with the communists. But these 3 films were very important. But not just only the films. I read many books, too, so other novels, let's say. And also I read a book, historical one, which been written by Tim Snyder, American historian. And this book is Bloody Lands. It's a wonderful book about Eastern Europe, Timothy Snyder, and Bloody Lands. And wonderful book, So it's can't really describe it, So because he is just only really following the history of the Ukraine and Belarus and Russia as well, of course, That's why he called it the Bloody Lands. But then I also read books about the children psychology, the clinic psychology. And one of the most important books, which did have a very big influence on me, is a French doctor. His name is Boris Cyrulnik, and the book is called Resilience. And this book is very important, or was very important for me, very important. So I just so many films I've seen, many books I did read, of course, That was my, let's say, my own personal pre-production during when I was 3 years when I was writing the screenplay.